What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co host, Josh.
Everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of the Film Bros podcast. All right, Josh. So today we do have a movie review, and yes, we are going to kind of follow that structure of this movie review today. I say kind of, Josh, because you need to understand, all right? I'm not only furious, I'm upset, I am perturbed. I am so many emotions that, I don't even think I could sit through a full movie review structure with you today. Today is going to be just a full blown rant, okay? It's going to be a
Okay.
full blown
Okay.
rant, the good, the bad, the ugly, and we're going to talk about possibly what's our best part about this movie, which got to, I could think I could speak for the both of us, few and far in between, right? Am I
Not a
right?
lot.
For
Not a lot.
for a movie that is supposed to be horror. We've already been through so many installments, and here we are at the end point. But obviously, there's a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes that we're gonna have to kind of discuss and add a little bit of context. I just, I'm gonna be very passionate today. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be a passionate reviewer today, and we're just gonna go ahead and go on this spiel. Josh, let them know what we're talking about today, so we can go ahead and get your side and get into the nitty gritty of this review.
We're talking about Scream 7, 2026.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Did you miss me? Nice little town you found. You and your pretty daughter. Reminds me of where we grew up.
Well, you sure know a lot about me for another asshole hiding behind a voice changer.
Oh, I'm not hiding, Sydney. Not this time.
Yes, Scream 7. Like I said, we've been through a plethora of Screams, all right? From what a lot of people would assume is the worst, Scream 3, and to what everybody thought was the best. I mean, you can argue maybe Scream 1, you can maybe argue Scream 4. It just depends on what era you were born. But I believe those were kind of like the top two for a good chunk of time. We're going to have to give a full Scream ranking one of these days, possibly around Halloween time. So if you guys want to hear that, let us know. Josh, you've watched this movie way before me, okay? And it's crazy for me to think that actually happened, because I was the one who was like, scream, scream, scream. And you were like, no, no, no. I refuse to scream, right?
I
And
refuse.
yeah, you refused. And then eventually, Scream 5 came around and really picked you up. Scream 6 came around and really picked you up. And I, for one, was very proud of that. And then you told me a couple months ago after you left the theater, because you did, like I said, you watched this movie away before me. You're kind of sorely disappointed. So it gave me a little bit of time to reflect and think like, hey, do I really want to walk into this one? Am I gonna, it's kind of like that thing where it's like, hey, I'm gonna just not ruin my relationship right now. I know what's gonna happen as soon as we get to that conversation, right? Scream 7, the conversation. But I don't want to break up yet. I want to still remember all the good times, right? And I finally got around to it. And, me, being excited for this franchise, I got to be honest, man. That's a no for me, dog. I gotta be honest, it's a no for me, dog. And I'm kind of saying this a little early, and that's okay. Spoilers up ahead for everybody. This, like I said, we are gonna go through some rant. But we're gonna be cutting. We're cutting the shit. We're gonna get straight to it, because this is a movie that not only had a lot of drama behind the scenes, it was supposed to be boycotted. It didn't seem like it worked, really. A lot of people still went to go watch the movie, but it was supposed to be boycotted and all that stuff. Josh, 3 months ago, you went to go watch this movie. How did you feel about that? I know when I asked you to rewatch it for this episode, you were kind of like, yeah, and you kind of exploded a little bit.
Right.
How did you feel, if you can remember the feeling of going into this movie, and then how do you feel when you had walked out of said movie?
I remember being okay, I didn't have high expectations. I knew it was going to be a shit show. But the fact that it was this bad, it kind of ruined everything to a certain extent. So I mean, I wasn't expecting much, and then when I left, it was like, whoa, that was worse than what I thought could even, happen.
How do you
So
destroy expectations that weren't there?
exactly, I didn't even have that shit, and they were just like, we're gonna surprise you with
Oh, you thought
terribleness."
you
That's
didn't
what
bring it
happened.
with you. You thought you didn't bring it with you, but you actually brought it with you. So walking out, you were a little disappointed. I remember you. I remember that disappointed phone call, and that's what basically drove me to wait a little bit. So, thank you for that, for poisoning the well a little bit. But that's okay. You were trying to forewarn me. I gotta say that's a noble gesture, my dog. Gotta say, right? But obviously we're gonna stop beating around the bush. We're gonna have to start digging into this because, like I said, I do not want to be talking about this for a long period of time. Unfortunately, it's not worth my time. To be honest, if you guys want to watch it before you getting through all this, go ahead and watch it. But if you don't feel like you want to wait, go ahead and stick around for the spoiler review. Josh, 30% on the tomato meter, 74% on the popcorn meter. Fall from grace, okay? Because Scream 5 really did a number on it, on Scream's reputation, really brought the franchise back up to a sky high after years of being on a hiatus. Like I said, Scream 4 was pretty much loved as it was a cult classic, but a lot of people kind of skipped it because of Scream 3, right? Scream 2 as well. Scream 4 came out, people loved it, but it just wasn't looked at. We wound up getting Scream 5, came out with a 76% on the tomato meter, and then Scream 6 wound up coming out around 77% certified fresh on the tomato meter, and then we get to Scream 7 with that 30%. Audiences seem to still love it with that 74%. So, I mean, do we agree, disagree? I gotta say, who is in the popcorn side? I gotta know. I gotta just meet them and
That's
talk
what
to
I'm
them.
saying. Exactly. I don't understand that shit either. 30% sounds generous. 74% is fucking way too like positive for me. I can't do it. I thought it would be so much lower for both of them. Holy shit.
One thing that I did kind of encounter, and I gotta be honest too, with this film, is that maybe it's one of those films that you would even say, like, if you turn your brain off, it's kind of like it's just kind of like a fun movie or whatever, right? Can you kind of feel that with like Scream 7, where if you kind of turn your brain off, you can kind of skip 5 and 6 and kind of just go from, well, maybe just 6, maybe continue from 5 with Neve Campbell and move on to Scream 7.
Nah, man. I don't think so. I don't think you can get there with this one at least now.
No, this is
I
not
don't
one of
see it.
those. Okay, I was kind of curious because I was like, I wonder if you could kind of look at it that way. Maybe think about it a little bit. And I'm trying to think if there's any strings attached that can kind of stop that. But yeah, here we are. So yeah,
Right.
I gotta say that I don't agree with this either. Like I said, 74% popcorn meter. That's kind of weird. 30% on the tomato meter. Critics railed the shit out of this movie. I gotta say, it gotta be the lowest scored Scream movie. Yeah, it is the lowest scored Scream movie as of right now. Um, yippee. Scream 7, it was directed by Kevin Williamson. Now, if you know him, he is the other half of Wes Craven. He is the original writer for Scream 1. Obviously, Wes Craven was the director of the first, I believe, 2 films, and then he walked out on the third one, came back for the fourth, and then he wound up passing away and whatnot. I believe he direct the fifth one? I think he was alive to direct the fifth one.
No, I don't think so.
Let me just double check. No, he did not. So yeah, he was already passed away by the fifth one. But he did direct the fourth one, which is great, and I believe he passed away shortly after that one. And yeah, we got a different director for Scream 5, different director for Scream 7, which what was it? It was the production company Radiohead or something like that, right?
Yeah.
He wound up walking out when Melissa Barrera walked out. Obviously, that was like a big thing when it came down to Scream 7, was that there was a huge pivot, right? And that's what I mean, where, if you turn your brain off, maybe you could connect 5 to 7. But I'm not 100% sure about that one. Scream 6, Neve Campbell was kind of absent, completely absent, because she did not get her bag that she was asking for. Wound up coming back around for Scream 7 after, Paramount was basically back against the wall. And hey, we needed somebody, right? So Neve Campbell wound up coming back. Like I said, Kevin Williamson did direct this film as well, the other half of Wes Craven. He was the original writer. He'd been doing the writing for different Scream movies ever since, and now he decided to direct. I gotta be honest here, though. You know, you could tell that this was like a power couple kind of thing. Am I saying that right? You know, Wes Craven was the other half of that. When Wes Craven passed away, the person that basically breathed life into the Scream franchise with their, you know, direction and everything was Matt Bettinelli, Open, and Tyler Gillette, which was, like I said, the two directors that basically got Scream 5 and Scream 6 off the ground. And they decided that they were not coming back because, you know, the story was incomplete. Melissa Barrera was not going to come back. Jenna Ortega wasn't coming back. Nobody was coming back. So, except for two people. And we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So that is a little bit of the tea in the background. We'll probably go down a little bit more as we continue down this road. Like I said, Neve Campbell comes back as Sydney Prescott, or not Sydney Prescott, Sydney Evans, because she is married and has a child in this film. Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, Elizabeth May as Tatum Evans, Jasmine Savoy Brown, the Scab, as Mindy Meeks Martin, Mason Gooding, the other Scab, as Chad Meeks Martin, Anna Camp as Jessica Bowden, Celeste O'Connor as Chloe Parker, Asa German as Lucas Bowden, and, you know, McKenna Grace as Hannah Thurman, and last but not least, definitely not least, Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher. And that's going to be a big, not really a big reveal in the movie because they immediately start talking about it as soon as the movie starts. Josh, let's talk about a little bit of what this movie's about, and then let's go ahead and start jumping into what we need to start talking about.
Okay. Let me see. Scream 7
Scary
takes place.
Movie 6.
I meant to say Scream. I'm sorry. I know.
I gotta ask. Okay, wait. Before you go down the rundown, I mean, Scream 7. You did watch Scary Movie 6. It's not a Scary Movie 6 review, but did this movie not help with the parody jokes and whatnot? Like, I feel like this movie really fed into that for sure.
Yeah, no, it really did. It parodied the fuck out of these last two. So,
okay.
But anyway, Scream 7 takes place a couple years after the events of Scream 6. No Campbell in that one, but we do get the twins back. A new killer, Ghostface Killer, is taking over, pretending to be Stu, which is something we've never really heard before. We get a kill in the beginning that has nothing really to do with the story. The killers are trying to, again, rewrite the story, become the killers themselves. We get a very unsatisfying twist by the end of it. They're after or Sydney and her daughter. They're basically their whole family. A couple of interesting kills was in the middle. You get unanswered questions about the twins and where they were from in 6. It's kind of a mess, but that's the best way to sum up Scream 7.
What a mess, indeed. What a mess, indeed. So yeah, we're gonna run through this as quick as possible. Josh, characters. Obviously, you gotta love Neve Campbell. You gotta love Courtney Cox. Elizabeth May. I've heard great things about her. When I heard that she was joining the cast, I was very excited to see what she got. I heard she was in that one show, 18 something, and I heard she was really good in that movie. Not movie, the TV show. And let's just be honest, unfortunately, she was not able to flex those chops for us within this movie. Unfortunate. I think that's more of a character problem than an acting problem. I mean, you can't really give much on a script that wasn't giving you really any besides, you know, nostalgia bait every single time. Am I right? Like I said, Mason Gooding, Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy and Chad, the scabs of the crew. Listen, let me tell you, you shouldn't have came back if they weren't going to do shit with your character, which they didn't, and they didn't really care. And they, to be honest, they didn't care so much that they kind of just they planted them in just a random spot just so they could be like a part of the story. Anna Camp, if you've seen her in Pitch Perfect, you know that she can act. I mean, I've seen her in all 3. Don't ask me why I've seen all 3 Pitch Perfects. I don't want to talk about it. I got a ticket for a long way round. Right?
Oh, okay.
She could have possibly done something great, and that just out the window. Joel McHale as Mark Evans, him coming in for Patrick Dempsey's spot. Basically, he came out with a story as well where like he literally went on set, and I guess Patrick Dempsey couldn't not or did not want to return. I think he was asking for more money or something and did not return. He wound up taking that spot of, the husband. So I think that's a little funny that, Paramount was basically baking to the very end for Patrick Dempsey to basically reprise his role as Sidney Prescott's husband. And yeah, the one person that I was like a little wasted, two people, McKenna Grace, because she was amazing in FNAF 2. I thought, hey, as a horror person, she could really do something with that, right? And Lucas, or I said German, and he was in the Boys spinoff, right? And he was also a little bit in the Boys for like the ending finale in season 4. Not much time, let's just be honest. And as soon as that casting came out, everybody was like, he's the bad guy. He's gonna be the bad guy. He's not the one or whatever. And I think this movie picked a lot of that's one thing. With the other Scream movies, it felt like there was like a roster of like randoms, that basically fill up the slots of the other, Scream 1, the nerd, the TV nerd. You have the strong jock. You have the suspicious one. You have like different characters, right? This one, it seemed like they were all planted there to basically be like, hey, we're possibly the killer. And like they didn't even try to blend it in as well as, the other movies as has done before them. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But that's basically my take on what these characters basically had. I mean, they really didn't bring much to the table because they didn't have much to bring to the table, unfortunately. Josh, what do you think about all these characters?
Yeah, no, man. I don't think any of them really shined out. You know what I mean? Like from the acting to the story, nothing really intrigued me to where I was like, damn, I want to see them again. I'm tired of Sydney. I think she should have passed the baton a long time ago. She should probably pass the baton on to her daughter and, have their adventures or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't everybody in this movie I wasn't really feeling.
Well,
Even crazy enough. Fucking Will fucking Stu. Dude that played Stu. Even though they announced the fuck out of him, I just still wasn't interested. It sucks.
mm-hmm. Well, when I heard that whole rumor of like, Stu coming back, Matthew Lillard reprising his role and all that stuff, for me, Neve Campbell coming back, Stu, I was like, look, man, they're basically trying to. Somebody was on Reddit, saw the rumors of, can Stu be alive or whatever, and they really were like, hey, you know what, we're just gonna make a movie about this. We're gonna go ahead and start something like this, and it just didn't work out. This movie really felt like they were kind of making it up as they go along, and every single time, as they make it up as they went along, they were like, hey, we kind of hit a wall here. What do we do? Oh, throw in nostalgia. Everybody's obviously gonna love nostalgia. Sidney Prescott's jacket from the second movie. Give that shit to her daughter. We're obviously all gonna remember that shit. Are we not? Are we not gonna all remember that? That's not. You don't remember Neve Campbell's jacket in Scream 2?
No.
No, that's not what your focus was when you were watching that movie.
No.
Oh, my bad. I gotta say,
Who
too.
cares?
Celeste O'Connor has not caught a break. Two bad movies back to back. If you remember where she was in while you were watching the movie, last time you saw Celeste O'Connor, she was in Madam Web. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
the dog shit movie? she decided to double down on the dog shittery. It's crazy. I gotta put these ones together. Obviously, the world building and the plot is gonna basically coexist because there was none for either, right? We stuck Neve Campbell into the Scream world, but did not stick her into that world. Exactly what you said in the beginning of this review was that we get a scene in the beginning of the movie that feels completely disjointed from the rest of the film. Hey, look, you make a movie where your first thought is obviously, hey, we're gonna have to start it off with a big bang. And, obviously you say, hey, we're going to have to do a killing inside of the original house to kind of kick this off. Fine. But then you remember that Neve is not even in that city anymore. She's not been in that city for a long time. So why would anybody go to a house and burn it. Why? So the news can cover it and be like, oh, why would she care that that house got burned down?
Yeah, no, she wouldn't. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my ex boyfriend's killer's house. They both try to murder me in it. Why? Why would she care? Why would she give two fucks?
Why wouldn't she just be doing a dance like, oh my god, it's finally gone? It's
Exactly. She'd be tap dancing all over the soil. That's
right.
crazy.
It's over with. Like I said, so that kind of leads into like the no plot, the no world building, right? You go into a completely different city. You get a whole new cast. You get a vague relationship between Neve Campbell and her best friend, who is apparently her neighbor. You get nothing out of this film. There's completely nothing to the plot, unfortunately. Like,
Dude.
that they want you to be like, oh, there's a killer, and then they completely do him in relatively quickly. The first time I've ever seen a Ghostface get done in by a car, let's just be honest, and that was only to basically introduce, Courtney Cox's character back into the movie, and then kind of add these two other scabs in there as well. And
yeah.
You get to the end of it, even with the moment of like, realization that, hey, there's AI and everything. Like, there's no explanation. There was a realization, but there's no explanation by the end of it for why everything was happening. And that's why I got to give the plot a 0 when it comes to this one. It literally feels like they were making it up as they go along.
Obviously, they were trying to bring back and rewrite things or whatever, but
no, they weren't trying
choose
to
it.
bring
Okay.
back and rewrite nothing. Everything that I heard was all nostalgia bait. Everything that they said was either lines from the original Scream and from other movies
like
that we've heard before.
That's obviously a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to bring back everybody from Scream 1 through 4. Not even. It was like they stopped at like 1 through 3 and then seemed to skip 4, and then they fucking just jumped to show um what's his name? Dewey's death. And then that's it. They didn't even show the killers from 4.
What do you mean?
When they were doing the AI video, now that I'm thinking about it.
No, they went to they skipped 4 completely because
Yeah, they just
how you gonna
showed
get
Dewey's
Julia
death.
Roberts to come back?
They're not, exactly. But so okay. So rando killers, not tied to anything that Sydney was talking about or doing.
Yeah, and
They're
this
just
film really
random
made it a
people.
point to parody that. I gotta be honest. This film really made it a point to parody that.
And it's so dumb because it just doesn't make any sense. No ties to nothing. They just randomly decided to use Matthew Lillard to like gas this movie up for no fucking reason. He had like no significance outside of being AI
Like
and phoning in his actual like performance.
if they would have played on this since the beginning, like, oh, Stu Macher's in the background this whole time, like he could possibly be, but he possibly isn't. You know what I mean? If they would have been doing that since like Scream. Shit, you could have even gotten away with it if you started it in Scream 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you would have started it a couple movies down, like that would have been like a good cop out. Like that that could have been like a good plan B if you were really thinking about it like a plan B option. But they said, hey, we need a plan B, and they just decided to just throw money at it. And Scream 5 to Scream 6 took a year. It got greenlit immediately and basically went into production. After Scream 6, same thing basically happened, but the SAG strike wound up hitting it as well and caused it to kind of be delayed a little bit there. Obviously, with the statements that Melissa Barrera said and everything, it wound up delaying it even more because we lost the cast, and then we wound up, building it back up as time went on. So they basically had a year to make this movie from scratch after, basically missing out. And if you thought you were going to get a continuation from 6, you're not. We're pivoting. We pivoted so hard that the movie doesn't know what it's doing at this point. Fight scenes, killing. How do we think about the murder scenes? I gotta be real. The best part of the movie, honestly. I like the beginning. I like the scene where the knife goes through the head and the eyeballs start going all over the place. I like that homeboy just. He could have killed homegirl in the beginning, but he said, "Hey, hell no, I'm gonna light her up. I thought that was pretty sick. I thought it was hilarious, and even more hilarious in the context that there was a woman behind that ghost mask, and that was kind of like her son as well. That he got basically beer tapped, which is insane. So I mean, the killing at least in this movie was good. I gotta say the action and when it comes down to like the chase scenes with Ghostface and everything, even though a couple of times, every Scream movie has that whole like bumbling Ghostface type shit where like he's trips on nothing and all that stuff, but a little bit more in this movie. They added just a little bit more. Like in the Scream 5 and Scream 6, they kind of minimized that for the most part. Like they did their best to make sure that it wasn't like a jokey thing, but this one, oh my god, he had a lot of yabba dabba doo moments, let's be honest. What'd you think about the killing and all that?
I mean, dude, the kills. I feel like we've gotten better ones throughout the this whole like little saga of theirs. Just to say that these were pretty good. I mean,
McKenna's
like if I had a
McKenna's was pretty good too. The guts hitting the floor and her getting cut up like by 1,000 cuts as she's floating around. That's pretty cool.
right. If I had to pick one, my favorite was probably that one, the beer tap one, because I think that's the only memorable one outside of the other one, which is the fucking ballerina stuff, or no, the play, her swinging from the play string or whatever.
Mhm.
But other than that, dude, I thought they were kind of boring. I thought they were kind of whack. I was like, damn, I don't think anything will tap, for me anyway. I don't think anything will tap Ghostface like point blank at someone with a shotgun.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
think I'll
really
ever.
controversial though. A lot of people didn't like Ghostface with the shotty.
Yeah, but I thought that was creative. I thought it was fun, and like it's only a one and done thing. He doesn't spend the whole
It's
time like
creative to pull
chasing
out
them
a
with it.
Glock 19 and just dust someone.
It was just as creative as fucking Gale Weathers running someone over, bro. Come on now.
Uh-uh. In Scream 6, she was putting in work with that deagle.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. So she's doing way more damage than Sydney. That's crazy.
In the last movie, in this movie, oh well, yeah, she basically did a lot of damage in this one, I think too. All right.
I don't know. I think the kills are pretty average. That's the way I feel about them.
For this one, I average but creative. I think the blood, the gore was there. I got to be honest. Now, one thing I just did not like Mason Gooding's character being like, I'm not. I don't feel like getting stabbed tonight. And dude gets stabbed one time and gets put on his ass.
Right.
Did
A
we?
lot of that
I
happens,
had
dude.
asked you, but I didn't go back to overlook. But did we know what happened to those characters? Did you
The
do
twins?
research in it? Yeah. What happened? They just got stabbed and
Th-
left there at the end of it.
No, they come out at the end, and Gail's like, "Oh, I'm getting too old for this. You guys need to take over."
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Okay, that's right. But it was
She's like, "I'm
it
getting
was
too
just a small
old.
scene,
See
huh?
y'all in the sequel."
Right.
Yeah, it was like right at the end. Bro comes out with his arm stitched up, and the girl comes out all okay because of her stomach. How I think he should have died in six, obviously, because he got fucking like double tapped
How you get
12
stabbed that
different
many
times.
times in the movie before, and one in the shoulder basically puts you on your ass?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Football linebacker type shit in college, but he can't just do any of that stuff. I don't know, dude.
I'm just saying he got
Oh
double. He got
man.
double cut in Scream 6 multiple times. He got stabbed at
I
least
and
25 times and survived that shit. You're not gonna
and
tell me you
like
get stabbed one time and like after what you've been through, that's all that it takes. That's crazy. And then Ghostface didn't even go
and
back to finish the job.
right, right. What the fuck? But this girl had a personal vendetta against her fucking son, so she can fucking beer tap his ass for no reason.
She could make sure that he's gone for sure.
Right. Just in the most gruesome way possible too. Like, oh, you remind me of your father. Fucking
Right. And he
dude,
used
it
to
makes no
drink a lot.
sense.
Let me put him on the beer tap real quick. No.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Um.
They like these two I know are around to do that whole like, oh, it's a requel. We're here to get meta, whatever. But like, I think without the other two to like make it organic and bounce off of them, it all feels forced. You know what I mean?
What?
It
Yeah.
doesn't
That's
feel
a.
as like good.
Oh, you know what? Bringing that up too. Yeah, that was one thing too. Every movie has that scene where it's like, oh, that you gotta know the rules to survive a horror movie, right? Like like every Scream movie comes.
That's the shtick.
Yeah, it comes compact with that scene. But that scene in this movie just felt like tacked on. Like they needed to have it there. That's what I'm saying. Like everything felt like nostalgia bait more than like the story needed it to happen. If that makes sense. Like it just felt like, hey, they do this in every other movie. We need to put that in there. Neve Campbell's coming back. We need to put that in there. You know, her daughter's gonna be there. We need to put that in there. You know, and it's like I get it, but it felt like we were doing Scream One again without all that magic that Wes Craven basically poured in there. And
Yeah,
you
half
know,
baked.
yeah, like it was just a lot of that stuff. And I mean, I get it because Kevin Williamson, like I said, he worked on the Scream, you know, saga. He's been working on this since the very beginnings. But like I said, if this is a two-man job, which it most clearly is, the best movies that were highly regarded came from a two-man job. Wes Craven, Kevin Williamson, and then even if you look back at Scream 5 and Scream 7, or Scream 5 and Scream 6, that's, you know, the Radiohead production company, the Matt Bettolini Olpin and Tyler Gillette. Like them two, you know, they made magic again. So you could tell that these movies are basically a two-man job. Somebody who can basically do the visuals, and the other person can do the writing and try to make it as
Right.
compelling as possible. And when you
Right,
have
right,
one
right.
man who has to tackle it all, it's unfortunate that you kind of trap yourself in that oh, what did I do before and what can I, you know, add on top of that and everything like that. What one person that we didn't really talk about is Matthew Lillard though. Like how did we feel about him, you know, at least in the little scenes that we did get from him. I know we didn't get him in the flesh and that's probably a disappointing part out of all of this. I think that was my disappointing part, but did he have the stew chops in the phone? Like, is you know what I mean? Like, literally
Oh.
a phoned in performance. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, no, like just hit record, Matthew. You'll be all right. Have your grandkids help you with this or some shit like that. I don't know, dude. I don't know what the fuck they were doing here. I would have preferred him in the flesh. That way we get a little bit more of an engaging kind of like performance. But I guess for what he was on the phone, man, he was fine. He was no big deal, you know.
I gotta be honest. Doing an AI plot and you using, you know, they're not real people. It's AI. You can de-age them to look like how they looked when they passed away. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I talking to an old Matthew Lillard when the last time we saw him, he was young and youthful and all that stuff? You know what I mean? Same thing with the mom and the. I almost missed that. The mom in the second one, I was like, what the like? Why is she so old? Who is this person talking to her? I was like, oh, that's the mom, but you know, she's already old, so it's kind of hard to tell. The same thing with the brother in the third in Scream 3. Like we got that little glimpse. Dewey obviously looks older than what he did in Scream 5, and he passed away in Scream 5. So why wouldn't we try to de-age them to the point where they basically passed away? I would have at least made that little detail known, but they were just like, hey, we ain't got the money and we ain't got the time, and that's not gonna happen.
They're just like, hey man, we're already like towards the end. We just gotta wrap it up. Like
Right.
fucking. And they were just like, we don't have time for any of this. You guys are all getting like one line each.
Right. That is basically what happened. Everybody got shuffled through and got one line, and they basically showed up in front of a camera and was told to read said lines, and that's basically it.
Right.
Um, Last stop, cinematography, ugliest Scream film
Um,
to date.
I would say
I personally did
nothing
not
really
like the lighting in a
creative.
lot of the scenes in this movie. I the perfect one, the perfect two. I gotta say, when it came down to like lighting and like the tone of the film, it gotta be Scream 5 and I'm Scream 5 and 6. I gotta put those two together and Scream 4. Those are like probably the best like tone, coloring, lighting, everything together basically makes the film work. And I think with Scream 7, again, this either is did not have enough time or just did not care to really dial in those little things.
I don't know, man. I think they cared as much as they could. So much so that they were like, you know what? I don't think they care either. Here's enough to make a sequel. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where we're at with this franchise. And it's unfortunate because we should demand more or better stuff anyway. I don't think this movie stuck out in anything outside of maybe one or two kills. Scream worthy anyway.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I could just get the same enjoyment from it watching one, two, four, five, and six. You know what I
Just
mean?
Scream
Like
3.
that's kind of
Did you just skip
Huh?
3?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I
What
feel
third
like you
one?
just skipped 3.
No. I said 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, okay. I thought you skipped 3 for a second. I thought you skipped it for that. I feel like I missed it, but you corrected me. Thank you. But yeah, unfortunate. This probably spoiler for for our upcoming ranking, I guess. But eventually we're gonna have to get to that point. Um, but yeah, Josh, final thoughts. 1 through 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, 5 being in the middle. What do you think about Scream 7?
Man, I was right not to rewatch this movie. I think getting the footnotes and it all coming back to me like a PTSD kind of dream where I wake up in a
You
cold
just hear
sweat
the
and try to
the
forget
the
it all.
ringing of the bombshells, just sing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think trying to remember it like that really brings it all together. I don't think there's anything redeeming about this movie. I thought you're gonna hate me for it. I thought the third one would be the worst one, but this one might be the worst Scream movie I've ever seen. This was ass from A to S. Like it was all bad, dude. All bad. I mean, I wouldn't even watch it again. I think the franchise for me ends at 6. Dude, this isn't. I gotta give it like 2 out of 10.
2. Holy shit. A 2 is crazy. A 2 is kind of low, right? Um I have a soft spot for Scream 3, so I got to give it a second before I jump through this computer and just choke you out. That's just basically it's a superpower now. Now that you unlocked it with the Scream 3 slander. Um Scream 7 was clearly a movie that did not need to be made. Or at least needed a lot more work done before getting made. Um I appreciate, like I said, the kills in this one because what makes a great horror film is the kills, but you know it can only do so much. Am I right? You can only do so much. It could only be so entertaining with the kills. I couldn't even like love the final kill of Ghostface because it was just one. It was ridiculous that nobody hit a shot not one time in the what was it like an hour and a half runtime, but at the very last moment, everybody can just hit every single shot on point multiple times, and as the gag goes, like make sure you shoot them in the head. Well, it's like you dumped multiple clips in the head. I'm pretty sure they're not getting the fuck back up. Like at this point, you're doing this for fun. You're loving this shit. You're Melissa Barrera just in a different form. Like it's not okay. Um, the characters, look, you're gonna get people that we know we love and give them nothing to do on screen. Oh, but we're so happy that Tatum got her mother's jacket. I love
Right.
it. I love it. I love that we got certain things like that. It was great. And I say that because for me, that was like the most ridiculous callback. That was the most ridiculous nostalgia bait that I've ever seen in my life because, where the MCU tries to give you Iron Man again, where the MCU tries to give you, we had some leaks recently, but like in a whole Avengers scene, like they're trying to give you that kind of nostalgia bait. We get a jacket, right? And we get people duped by a animatronic. Basically, we basically get a watered down version of FNAF in the beginning of this movie, which is insane. By the end of it, and it's unfortunate for me to say, Scream 7, it's possibly gonna be my worst Scream movie. I gotta do a double take on every single one, but it has to possibly be at the bottom of the totem pole. The only redeeming quality has to be the kills. Everything else, from the acting to the characters to the scabs that decided to sign back on after losing their whole cast. This film deserved nothing but I was gonna say 3 originally, but I gotta give it like a 2 as well. I can't give it any higher. After hearing you say it in your piece and everything like that, hearing it from an impartial side, especially because I was gonna kind of walk in here and white knight this movie hella hard. But I just could not do it. It was one of those things where like I could not stand on this side and be like, this movie is great. It's not a great movie. There's a lot of that is to be desired within this film that we just do not get. And if you're looking for a complete story with the actual motivation and a killer to match it, I say go watch Scream 5 and 6. Just go watch those two. Scream 4, even Scream 3 has a cohesive plot to the killer, regardless of what you want to think. But like Scream 7 just does not have that, and it's unfortunate. But let us know what you guys think. Scream 7 is on Paramount Plus right now if you guys want to check that out. It's no longer in theaters. So it still made quite a bit of money, but we still have not heard anything for a Scream 8 just yet. So maybe they're actually taking their time and going back to the drawing board after all the complaints and the YouTube videos, and we're about to add another one to that roster. Let us know what movies we should be talking about, topics that we should also be talking about. You want to hear your voice on one of these episodes, Josh? Let them know where they can do all that.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, or FilmBros Podcast. Post on episodes where we can hit us up there for news and movies you wants to cover. Buzzsprout, link in the social I just gave you. It's like a Patreon. You subscribe to the show. We would really appreciate it. Listen to us anywhere you podcast at FilmBros Podcast, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, again, wherever you get your podcasts. Be part of the conversation. Twitch at FilmBros Podcast. And what's all said and done, subscribe to YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
And with that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.